welcome to the iNGAGED webinar, communication platform for today's world. Over the next several minutes, we're going to show you how we can drastically improve communication with your employees and save you time and money in the process. So let's get started. Anytime I need to communicate information, it requires me to take time out of my schedule and put together long emails, paper forms, or mailers. I then have to blast that information out to my employees, and then I'm tasked with making sure that they receive that information and that it wasn't deleted or tossed in the garbage. But what if, as an employer, I could create and distribute information in seconds and make it available to my employees in real time? My employees could then access this information anytime, anywhere. That's what iNGAGED is all about, and that's what we're going to show you today. So during the demonstration, we're going to show you a couple screens. The first screen that you're looking at now, this is the administrative, so this is where we go in and create and distribute content. And then the other screen is going to be what your employees will actually see. So here is where they're going to go and be able to access any information that you, the employer, makes available to them. So the first screen we're going to look at is the white labeling feature. And so here we can go and we can upload your company's logo as well as change up the color scheme. So you really have a nice opportunity to make this look and feel just like your company. Now let's move to the fun part where we create and distribute content. So our iNGAGED platform provides a very nice set of building blocks to where we can go in and create virtually any communication we want to in seconds and then deploy it down to an entire population or specific populations in real time. So let's see how this works. On here, you'll see some demo categories that we went and created, stuff like 401k, benefits, really anything you can think of. You can simply go up here and type in whatever that category is. So for example, let's say it's open enrollment season and you want a tab that's just about open enrollment. We simply type that in there, create it, and then we can go back and fill it with content that we create. And so before anyone runs off because they think this is going to add more work, it's quite the opposite. So with our platform, we're actually going to save you and your team countless hours putting together information and then blasting it out. With our platform, we can develop content in seconds and distribute it in real time. Adding content is very simple, and we can do it in a number of different ways. So we can create from scratch, which I'll show you here in a second. We have the ability to upload documents. So here, let's say I want to have my benefits summary in here. I simply type in that title, click browse, and go find that document, open it up, and then once we hit upload now, that document is now up and running. We can also link to a website. So again, here we just enter in the title. So let's say I want payroll to be up here. I would simply type in payroll and then land the URL to our payroll site. So the employee now has one click to where they can go access that information. So now we can really navigate our employees really anywhere we need them to go. And then the last way we can do this is create from scratch. So let's take an example of one we've already created and show you exactly how this works. So creating from scratch is very simple to do. It's actually a lot of fun. It works a lot like a Word document. So up here under headline, this is where I would enter the title. So here, the title is Getting Started with Teledoc, and that's what our employee would see right here. And then down below, we can enter in any kind of content that we want them to have access to. And we have a nice set of tools that will help us do that. So if we just want to type out information that we want them to see, we can simply go down here and type that out. If we want to link them to another website, we simply enter that URL right here. And then if we want to upload any kind of video, we would just land that video URL right here, and then they would be able to access that when they want to. And so what's nice about our platform is we can actually view this content and see what it's going to look like before we publish it out to our population. So we can see that the image right here loaded nicely. Here's the title, Getting Started with Teledoc. We landed their URL right here in case as an employee I ever need to access that. I know exactly where to go. Or if I need to make a phone call, it doesn't matter where I am. I can do that anytime very easily simply by hitting that button, and now I'm calling Teledoc. So think of the way that happens today as an employee, or even worse, a spouse. Anytime that I need to access this information, that requires me to go to my HR department, find out, hey, what was the phone number, what was the information, what was the group number. Now I can go right here and I have all that accessible very easily. No matter where I am or what time of the day, I can do that very easily. And so we can also go in and see, okay, here's what it looks like on an iPhone or Android. Let's see how it's going to look like on an iPad. So again, nice viewing area here. We can see what the iPad looks like. And then lastly, for your employees who don't have smartphone or iPad access, we still have access on the desktop, so they can access that information here as well. So let's try creating one from scratch and see what it really looks like. So we're going to go up here, create from scratch. And then let's say that we want to send down maybe an open enrollment video. Simply type in that title there. And then let's say that we had a video that we already had on YouTube. We'll go in there and we'll pull that URL and then go back and simply click on this video link, paste that URL right here, click insert, and just like that, the video pops up. And so now once we hit publish, we can go take a peek and see what this is going to look like on the smartphone. Open enrollment video. Does the video work? Looks like the video works great. And so now we can then publish that out. If I wanted to add content or a link below, let's say this is a benefit enrollment video, so maybe I want to land a link to the benefit portal down below. So as an employee, I now have one place to go. I can watch that video, and then I will be linked to my benefit portal below. Again, really a nice feature because now as an employee, I don't have to leave the work site. I don't have to leave the house. I can be at the airport or the car wash, able to access this information when I need it, anytime, any day. And that's how creating content works. And so what's nice about this is not only can we create content, we can also link it to specific populations. So think of it this way. If you can identify a population, whether that's based on job title, location, plan election, health condition, if you can identify a population, we can link content directly to them. And so if you'll see where my cursor is under content linking, we can go and we can link this to any group that we've already identified. So let's say in this instance, it's an open enrollment video, and I want to link this to everyone who's under the benefits plan. I simply go there, click on benefits, hit publish, and in real time, everyone who is part of the benefit category or benefit group now has access to this information in real time. And so the feature for the employee is every time I go to this platform, everything I see is specific to me, based on me. And so for the employee view here, I can see, oh, okay, open enrollment video that we just created, just like that. And so again, a lot of different things we can do here. Any programs or resources that you're really trying to promote, we can now go in here, create those, and make those available to your employees in real time. And as the employee, I can now go here and access this information whenever I need to. So a very nice experience for your employees. And so here's where all your education content lies. So you can imagine over time, this will get to be a pretty big, pretty busy area. What's nice about our platform is we're a great organizing tool. So now I have all this communication, all this content, but I can very easily sort it by what I want to see. So let's say I want to look at all the medical HSA information. I simply go in here and then there it is. And so what's nice again is anytime I need to make changes, I just go in here and hit the edit button. Where today, let's say that we change medical carriers, I would now have to go out and blast all the new information out to my employees, hope they absorbed it, hope they got it. With our platform, we simply go in here, hit the edit button, enter whatever that new information is, and then when we hit publish, it's now made available to our employees in real time. So no more spending all that time putting together the information and then blasting it out. No more money spent on paper and stamps. We simply go into one platform, update the information. Once we hit publish, it's now made available to our employees in real time. And so we can do things like helping our employees navigate to find a provider or find a drug. Simply by going on here and landing that information as an employee, I now have one place that I can now access all things employer related very easily. No longer require me to go to multiple websites to find all this information. I now go to my one iNGAGED platform and I'm now directed anywhere I need to go. So a nice experience for your employees. And so far we've talked mainly about benefits and health, but we can still do a number of different things. Let's say we want OSHA information or vehicle safety information. We can land all of that here as well. If we want to link them out to payroll, we can do that. If we want to give them access to 401k information. The idea here is anything that you want to make available to your employees, we can literally create in minutes and deploy down in real time. So this really does become your platform based on your company. And so what's nice is anytime I want to make additional information available to my employees, it's simple as creating it and then going in here and clicking on it. And in real time, this information is now readily available for my employees. So here I can see wellness, 401k, payroll. Let's say I want them to have access to vehicle safety because they're a driver. We could land that here as well. So really the sky is the limit as far as what you want your employees to have access to. We simply create whatever the category is, backfill it with content that we create, and just like that, as an employee, I now have access to all this information in one easy to access place. And so that's how the content works. So again, everything you've seen so far works a lot like a library. So as an employee, I can go back in here and I can access anything employer related, all from one platform. And so if I need information about my payroll, I can click on that. If I want to get into my 401k, I can do that as well. If I need to access benefits or health information, maybe we're having wellness challenges. Again, the sky's the limit. Anything you want to send down, we can do so very easily. But what if, as an employer, you want to actually communicate information out and collect feedback from your employees? How can we do that? So we have a nice feature where we can communicate with employees via push notification and actually send out any number of tasks and collect feedback. So things like biometric screenings on site today, we could send that down directly to employees who are on that site. So as an employee, when I wake up in the morning, I have a push notification saying biometric screenings on site today, or things like fill out your enrollment form, fill out your health assessment. How painful was that last meeting or webinar? So really anything we want to send out, we can create and then send out in seconds, and the employee will be notified of the event. So let's create a task from scratch. And so as an employee, if I have no task to complete today, it'll just simply show up as this, you're all good. But let's say we want to send one out. So let's create a new task. So let's say it's time to enroll in benefits. And I want to make sure all my employees get this information. We simply go up here, type in that headline, and then we can collect feedback a number of different ways. This could be something as simple as a check mark, to where an employee receives a push notification saying time to enroll in benefits. They simply hit the check mark. Thanks for that information. I'm good to go. We can do something like a numeric entry. So here, if we're doing wellness activities and we want to record steps or miles, we can capture that information. This is a cool feature because we actually integrate with Apple's new Health Kit. And for those not familiar with Health Kit, it's designed to passively pull data from your wearable device. So here we can capture that information seamlessly and it will collect right here and fill out that task. We can also do something like a multiple choice. So here, think of a survey. Let's say the title was, how was your open enrollment experience this year? We could enter that title there and then have different answers down below. It was great, it was lousy. We can also then link to other sites. So here, time to enroll in benefits, we could then go below and enter the benefit URL portal. So as an employee, I'll receive this push notification that it's time to enroll in benefits. And with one tap, it will now take me to my benefit portal. I'm now ready to sign up for benefits. So no more sending out emails with all these instructions. I simply create this task, send it out, and as an employee, I get a push notification saying time to enroll in benefits. With one tap, I'm now inside that benefit portal ready to sign up for benefits. So a great feature there. Since we're just doing a demo, I'm just going to do a simple check mark. Then we'll go in and save that task. And then to schedule it is very easy. I simply go in here. This works like a Google search. So I go in here, time to enroll in benefits. And then I can schedule this out a number of different ways. This can be a one-time event. So it goes out one time. Once the employee completes it, they never see it again. This could be a daily reminder. So if we're doing a wellness campaign and we want people to record their steps, that could work there. We can have a weekly reminder, so maybe I want to send something out every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then advance. So here's a great one, time to enroll in benefits. Let's say that I want this task to go out on the very first day of open enrollment. So let's say that's today. I then can have it repeat every day, every week, every month, or every year. Let's say I want this task to repeat every week, every 1 week, and then I want it to expire on the last day of open enrollment. So let's say that's next month on the 4th. So now I can set this task up knowing that it's going to deploy on the very first day of open enrollment. It's going to repeat every week, every 1 week, and then it's going to expire on the last day of open enrollment, or if an employee finishes it before then. So I can now set this task up well in advance, know that it's going to deploy on the first day of open enrollment, have it set up every week, and then have it expire either when the employee completes that task or when open enrollment ends on this date we pre-selected. So again, this saves me the time of having to go out and send out reminder emails every week reminding people to do things. This will now deploy on its own, and the only employees that will keep receiving this reminder are the ones who have not completed that task. So a great feature there. We'll just do one time for a demo, go in there and save it, and it's as simple as publishing it out. So I'm going to bring back the smartphone over here, the employee view. Once I hit publish, I then just refresh my screen. There it is, time to enroll in benefits. Click on that. Since we just wanted to check mark, we can simply hit the check mark. They have the option to add a note, so I can add a note in right there. Great. Thanks for the reminder. Once I hit done, our system then timestamps and dates that action so we can report back to the employer when that was completed. So I'll simply go up here and refresh my screen, and I can see that at 12:30 p.m. on February 9, 2015, this action was completed. They added a note. Great, thanks for the reminder. And so now I can go in there and report back. So if I wanted to send down training videos, I could do that and know once those were completed. If I wanted to send out surveys, I could send that down, know when it was completed. So a great way to track all the different actions. And so this is an actual employee view. So we would be able to go back as long as we've been sending out tasks and see when did this person complete what activities. And we can sort by completed, skipped, incomplete, or set up alerts based on those activities. So let's take a look at some demo tasks that we could actually send out. So we can do things like biometric screenings on site today. And remember, not only can we distribute content to specific populations, we can also send out task reminders to specific populations. So let's say you're a school district and you're having screenings at a particular campus today. We could actually schedule this to go out only to the folks who are at that certain campus. So now as an employee, when I wake up in the morning, I see a push notification reminding me that biometric screenings are on site today. Great example there. And what we're looking at here is what the employee would view from their desktop. So they could go in here, see that information, check it off, complete that task. Here's what it would look like on their smartphone. Go in there, check it off, complete that task. Another nice feature is we also have the ability to collect legally binding signatures. So let's say you want to fill out a form that you need your employees to complete and sign and get back to you. We can collect that information by you handing us a PDF or a Word doc. We can then choose which fields that we want filled out or which ones are optional. Here's a date of birth field, so I can go in there, complete that, and then enter my email, the date, and then collect my signature down here. And this can be done using a mouse, or if you're on a smartphone or tablet, you can use your finger, and then we can go in there, collect that signature, and then we can distribute those back to the employer, either through Excel spreadsheet showing you who's completed it and who has not, or with the actual form. So a very cool feature right there. Once they complete that, we'll have that information as well. We can also do something like surveys. How was your open enrollment experience this year? Great, could have been better. Wish we had the iNGAGED app. Great, good response. Collect that information right there. Record your steps. So again, this is integrated with HealthKit. So if you had a device that was already synced up with HealthKit, it would automatically capture that. But we can do it manually as well. We can also collect feedback on things like how painful was that last meeting? It was 10, worst pain imaginable. Complete that task. So again, we can go and capture information, and then we can track it as far back as we have it. So as long as we've been sending out tasks, we can collect that information, view it by completed, skipped, incomplete, or if there are any alerts associated with it. And so that's a quick overview of our iNGAGED platform. Again, communication made simple. No more blasting out email, no more creating forms and mailers and sending those out. We now have one platform from which all communication flows, and for the employee, every time I access it, it's information that's relevant to me based on me. So a great way to really increase the effectiveness of your communication with your employees. Thank you for attending our iNGAGED presentation. If you would like more information or a one-on-one webinar or presentation, you can contact us at contact@engaged.co or visit our website at www.engaged.co.